How y'all doing? Thanks for stopping by and tuning in, as always. So, first and foremost, as always, I'd like to thank you all for tuning in to um, both part one and two series of my second flight lesson overview. But now, first, at Cape Fear Aviation, and by my new instructor, world renowned flight instructor winner, award winner by the ALPA, is Dave Herwick. Again, shout out to him and his student pilot Chris for referring me to him. But sooner or later, I meant to say too that I was going to then come across their school as well. I think I did sometime last year, along with rechecking in with Blue Line and stuff. Because I did say that Blue Line, they started in 2012, so it's already actually going to be a 10-year anniversary for them this year. I don't know what month. I think maybe the summer, June or something. They'll celebrate that. Shout out to them as well. And even Flight Test, once again, like I said, I don't have there is no love lost or whatever with any of these schools. They just operate different, or they operate the same. It's the same thing with trucking schools and trucking companies, aviation companies, airline companies, cargo airliner companies, charter jet companies, you name it. That's part 135 and everything. But they pretty much, it's just that whoever treats you more like family, just just do your homework, do your research. But I wanted to add, as far as when I did say that my second but first flight lesson with Cape Fear only cost me $95. Well, that's just a start, because again, they range different. I think I did say in that video, we only went up for a half hour during my 2-hour block reservation block with them, and they told me beginning of last month saying that, hey, we're not going to just because you reserved for that many hours, doesn't mean you're going to fly the whole hours total. Why? Because you can get very, very tired quickly, whether you love aviation or not. But since I love aviation, I put that in the chat, in the premiere and stuff. But you can get really dizzy and stuff. I wasn't feeling those effects from that lesson, but I did enjoy myself. It's just like I said, I just gotta get used to, being in smaller aircraft the more I fly them. So, but it's well worth it and less economical over there. So that's why more students to this day train over there for them. So, but meanwhile, I'm trying to pull up for what, as you see in the title, what today's topic is going to be. It's not going to be too long. I'm just going to give a definition and some examples, kind of like similar to the TAF and METARS video, understanding what those were. Even though I told you I'm not no certified flight instructor, but I will get that rating soon, along with the CFII, the certified flight instructor instrument rating and stuff. Let me see. Notice to Airmen. Oh, wait a minute. Gotta turn off Wi-Fi. I just checked back into the hotel that I've been staying at ever since every now and then. Excuse me on that. I don't check out till Tuesday. Reload. Okay. But that's just a start though. The $95, that was an intro flight. Not basically saying a discovery flight, but an intro flight, but just I'll call it a refresher flight to pick up where I left off. So the like I said, the slow flight was the only other thing that was introduced to me after the fact. So because of my first lesson, I was introduced to everything else at flight just from my previous flight instructor, Brandon. So that's it on that, as we're now 5 minutes in. Oh, another thing I wanted to add as far as building time, flight time, and your flight training, that's way different compared to going to truck driving school and everything. Because that there, you're building time as well, but it's a little different. You just need 250 hours of course to complete the trucking school course. But your hours when you're training, that also goes against your DOT and stuff time. I mentioned this too in my trucking videos when I first started doing content over 3 years ago. But I didn't want people to get confused of building time between both professions, because they are totally different. DOT and I guess the FAA somewhat go hand in hand, but not in this case with hours. But then FAA too, they have an hours of service rule as well and stuff. Federal Motor Carrier Safety Regulations Association and all that. So, all right. So yeah, this is today's topic. Notice to air missions, formerly Airmen. I was gonna say notice to Airmen, but it's now, since I guess this past year, been titled as Air Missions. But you can, say the same thing, but this is for non-aviators or those that want to get in aviation that might not understand what this means. This is why I'm doing a video. I first heard of the change last year through Brother Russ Kid. Russ Can Fly. He was passed on the information from Private Pilot Bartram, or Chris Bartram, Sir Chris Bartram, who did my challenge on how aviation changed life, when he said it hadn't. Did he say resurrected? Something like that. Well, I can put that video back up, or as far as either both my reaction or just a video without my reaction. So, because I did my reaction after he did the video on it. So, but yeah, he got the information along from him. They changed it to air missions. Now, on the ATIS comms and stuff and radio communications, they'll still post it as at certain airports, airmen still, and not air missions. But then again, I could be wrong. Last time I checked Mike Ojo's video, one of his older videos recently, from out of Smith Reynolds Airport, their ATIS system, they still label it as airmen when they do the whole readout of the weather conditions and temperatures and all that stuff. But maybe they done changed it now to to air missions instead of airmen. So, but this is what NOTAM means. So I just gave you what it stands for. So a notice to airmen or notice to air missions. U.S. wording. NOTAM is a notice field with an aviation authority to alert aircraft pilots of potential hazards along a flight route or a location that could affect the flight. NOTAMs are unclassified notices or advisories distributed by means of telecommunication that contain information concerning the establishment, conditions, or change in any aeronautical facility, service, procedure, or hazard, the timely knowledge of which is essential to personnel and systems concerned with flight operations. NOTAMs are created and transmitted by government agencies and airport operators under guidelines specified by Annex 15, Aeronautical Information Services of the Convention on International Civil Aviation. That's CICA. That stands for the acronym. NOTAM came into common use following the ratification of the CICA, which came into effect on the 4th of April 1947. Notices to airmen were normally published in a regular publication by each country's air authorities in Flight magazine in the UK. A number of developments and amendments to the CICA have resulted in the more automated system available today. A NOTAM is filled with an aviation authority to alert aircraft pilots of any hazards en route or at a specific location. The authority in turn provides a means of disseminating relevant NOTAMs to pilots. Okay, so there's a definition of what NOTAMs are or what it is. And so here's my examples of them. It basically says of hazards, hazards and other things to be alerted of while like on the air, in the airfield, or while en route in and out of the airfield. So prime, basic, simple examples. One I posted. I posted to my Instagram, the Michael Carter Show, probably August, September this past year. But it was an American Airlines Embraer regional jet flight. I forgot where it flew in from, but landed at Washington National, Reagan National in DC. And while on landing roll, after its, I guess, ground effects and all that stuff, come to find out that one of the tires, rear landing gear tire wheels, blew out. And of course, that startled the passengers. And so as a result, was halted right there on the center line of the runway and had the airport emergency crew services come out. And what happens after that is they'll basically shut down the entire airport, or as far as the runways altogether. No inbound or outbound, no departures or arrival. No departures nor arrivals that come in during that time while that such is being investigated or being handled or what have you. So that's one example. Another example was just the end of somewhere around last month when we had the winter storms and ice storms down here in North Carolina, which we usually have every other year. But I don't know how people think, oh no, it doesn't snow down here. Well, ever since I've been living here the first time, and since I've been back, it's always a snow and ice during this time of the year, like once or twice. And then probably won't see no more after that by the time spring comes. But RDU Airport, a Delta Jet Airbus A321 or what have you, they came in from Minneapolis, St. Paul, or Atlanta, Hartsfield, Jackson, came into land, and it skidded off the runway due to black ice. Now, you might see stuff like this in the news, but yeah, it's not just for regular vehicles, for four-wheelers or tractor trailers or buses or RVs to be skidding off or sliding off black ice, but airplanes too. Now that doesn't go for helicopters technically, because helicopters, they hover above areas. They ascend and descend. They don't have, some of them that have wheels, but they don't go down a runway. They just still ascend, lift off like a rocket basically. And that those wheels do retract if it's just the ones with just the cold things or whatever. Yeah, same thing. So they go up and down. But yeah, it happens in aviation too for jets and even general aviation planes to skid off runway due to black ice, or skid off runway due to, again, a tire blowout, brakes are bad, whatever the case may be. Other examples could be just regular runway closures because the runway is under construction. Again, just like roadways that be under construction. It's all concrete pavement at the end of the day. Tarmacs and everything can be under construction, saying, oh, this taxiway is closed or this runway is closed. So it could be construction operations on and off airfields as well. So they'll put that in the NOTAM, in the NOTAMs as of the ATIS transmission frequency that reads throughout from the tower. Somebody in the tower that records these on the hour, every hour, so they don't have to keep repeating it every 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 45 minutes, but on the hour. Well, by the time the next hour comes around, then they would have to do a new recording and stuff and re-record. You got animals, like I said, birds, but you know, that's more in the sky. But then again, on the ground, deer, most airports, again, wooded airports, like an uncontrolled. Again, you just go to the airport finder directory, and it'll just let you know of usual NOTAMs, you know, that are in or around airports. But yeah, the animals, most definitely. As far as runway closures and taxiway closures, I also meant to say that when that happens, again, I don't know if y'all can probably notice, but like when driving into your home, a local international airport, I've seen this all the time, but the construction airport crew workers will put out, it's like a big lighted X that's like right there at the end of, you know, of a starting runway on both sides or whatever. And that at night, if that thing will stay on and just let pilots know, okay, this runway is not in use because it's under construction or whatever. So it'll be a lighted X they'll put there until it is finished, then they'll remove it. Or you might have a permanently closed runway where they'll have X's paved on the runway markings itself, paved X markings. But if it's under construction, then they'll have the lighted X on it by the crew workers and stuff. It's kind of like your average lighted yellow arrows and yellow cones, again, on highways, byways, and interstates. So that's all it is. It's like almost like the NOTAMs for highways in aviation. Let's put it that way. That's even a better example. Yeah. Again, this is all potential hazards. This is basically what they mean by NOTAMs. So if you want more information on it, again, I can put that anywhere on here and from other people's videos or something, or better yet, do a reaction video to one. But this here is just me just speaking on what it is and stuff, what it means, and giving my examples and stuff. But this was a good topic. This is a very, very good topic, because I was going to say, I can't stress this enough either. Pay attention to, you know, these things. Pay attention to notice the air missions, formerly Airmen. Oh, this is a good example. And I'll put this up too with Mike Ojo. He mentioned when he went to Oshkosh Air Venture in Oshkosh, Wisconsin, EAA flight chapter, that they have a hell of a lot of NOTAMs, like a billion NOTAMs that you really have to pay attention to, because that's a fly-in show. When people from all different walks of life, all around, not just the country, but around the world, that come and fly in. You know, I'm as far as saying more as far as around the country flying in, but then again, you know, by looking at the statistics, it'll probably also show people flying from all over the world, you know, there. And they have NOTAMs to where on the places on a runway markings you have to land on are different markers and colored patch markers and patches that you have to land on. But I'll put that video up in. It'll explain for itself, because he talks more in depth on it. But that video went up quick. That basically was a viral video. It might not got a million views, but viral enough to hit probably close to 400,000 views on it. He uploaded that back in December this past year. And so that's it. But again, there's many other videos on NOTAMs and stuff, but again, this is just my take on it. So that is it I got for y'all. So close on 20 minutes for the 18 minutes and 30 seconds. So this one comes to a close, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Like Mike Ojo said, I'll catch y'all in the next video. Peace. Welcome from my channel to your channel. Salute. Hey, Michael Carter Studios and Production. Oh yeah, if you enjoyed my channel and video, check out these channels and videos.